Okay, so this is to talk more about how skateboarding has changed my life. And I'm going to put together a skateboard while I talk about it. I guess I'll start with when, and maybe I'll get to how from there. It was like a year ago that I felt really sick and went to the doctor because I thought that I had like an intestinal obstruction. And the doctor said, no, you don't. Your body is like totally filled up with fluid, and it's the fluid from the outside that's like squeezing your intestines tightly and causing that pain. And I was like, oh. And then he said, the reason that you have all that fluid buildup is because your liver's not working right because of damage from drinking too much alcohol. Which surprised me, but I totally believe. And he said that I should quit drinking, which I did. But I was really weak. They were scared that my health was really bad, so I actually was, in the hospital briefly. And then so last summer, I was pretty feeble and wasn't doing much, but I had lost a lot of weight from that water that I had drained and had been taking medicine like to keep down. And so it was in the fall of last year that I realized that I wasn't going to go snowboarding in the winter because I wasn't strong enough. And I was thinking I wanted something that would be really, really simple, really mellow and gentle, but sort of satisfy the same desire, or itch to snowboard or to make turns. I realized was to make turns. And so having tried skateboarding in the past, and having never really been satisfied with skateboarding as a substitute for snowboarding, I just decided I'm going to try it again. I knew there was new technology in skateboarding, and I wanted to give it a try. So I got this drop-through longboard. This one from Loaded, the Loaded Fathom. And so the trucks sit here and they drop down below. So the platform where your feet go sits lower than where the top of the truck is, and you tilt it from underneath by pulling instead of on top by pushing. And I had read that felt more like snowboarding, and that this one was really stable, and that it came with really big wheels. I like that because I knew that one of the problems I had in the past were being stopped by cracks and pebbles, and a larger wheel would help with that. So I ordered one of those for myself, and I really quickly learned that it was not the same. It wasn't the same as snowboarding. It wasn't really a good substitute for snowboarding, but it did. It was really fun, and it has its own thing. And I guess I would say that it was acceptable as a substitute for snowboarding before I found out about surf skating, basically. So I thought it was good enough to keep doing, and so I kept doing it, and I was going higher up my hill and having a really good time. And then I was thinking, though, I would like to be able to do something where I didn't have to walk quite as far or get up with quite as much speed in order to be able to make the kind of turns that I wanted to make to carve in the snowboard style. And so I started looking into other types of skateboard setups, and that's when I found out about surf skates. And so I tried one of those. I ordered the Carver trucks, and I put them on just a regular skateboard deck, and I had a really good time with that. So then I started experimenting with different decks, and I got a couple of other sets of trucks from Carver, and it was just after Christmas time when I got a big haul of gifts of skateboard stuff. And it was at that point that I really felt like it was its own hobby and passion, even beyond being surf skating even beyond being a good replacement for snowboarding. And so that is the when, and I guess that's the when, and sort of the mechanics of how it happened. But then like the things that it changed about my life are like I've been way more active and walking a lot up and down the hill and skating down the hill. And so I've been having no trouble at all like maintaining my health, my weight, and like my health has just kept improving since I started skateboarding. And my mental health, I think, has gotten a large improvement too, and not just from being sober, but from skateboarding. being out in the neighborhood and sort of just watching the world from a different perspective. Another way that skateboarding changes my life is like when I'm doing this little tinkering, just like putting the screws on the bolts, picking the trucks and the wheels and changing this and that detail. There's like 1,000 little details that I understand exactly what I'm doing and why, and I'm making the choices and then executing the choices. And so there's 1,000 little successes. I've talked about this before to multiple different people, but it's very rewarding. And I think that positive reward is, again, like really good for your mental health, and it's a totally healthy reward of like the success of putting something together. I don't think that there's any way to find the negative in there, at least not off the top of my head. That can't be true. Of course there's a negative to everything. There's gotta be, but I can't think of a good one right now, that's for sure. Oh, you know, it's kind of, skateboarding has kind of, I mentioned this briefly, sort of alluded to it, has given me like a really cool relationship to my neighborhood. Like being out there so regularly and seeing the same people walking their dogs, and so I have this, like, you know, nod and say good morning relationship to, I mean, 20 people or so who I would have never had that relationship to without skateboarding. Even if it's just hello and wave, that's pretty pleasant when you're going around the neighborhood. Again, it's like little positive things throughout your day that you know it's nice when someone smiles at you and waves and says good morning, and that's it. Like, that's always a win. And it adds up over time to being like a really big effect on your mental health. You're like, this was a good day. You know, even if something bad happens somewhere else. Plus making friends. I have only a couple of skateboard friends, but it's really fun to skateboard with people.